Who did it? I'm gonna do it next meeting.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah,
You know, things up everywhere.
I used to have a work computer and always had these,
Is he in?
firewalls that were especially ESPN.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Frank. Hi, Frank, can you hear us? My guess is he can't.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good, okay.
Go
All
ahead.
right. I did text you the link if. you
Yeah, I
wanted-
tried it. I tried it again and it didn't work, but I'll use my phone.
Okay, that's good. All right, then let's call this meeting to order. It is now 6:33 PM. Today is Monday, November 8th, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the City Council and WPCA. We're in the City Hall auditorium participating via Zoom. I have Councilman Rubino. Here in the auditorium, I have Councilman Waldron, Councilwoman Wagner, Councilwoman Ruette, Councilman Cavanero. Before we begin the meeting, could we please stand and pledge the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So, item number one on the agenda this evening is public comment. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public in accordance with section 4E of the City Council WPCA meeting rules of procedure. Thank you, Ms. Councilwoman
Second.
Ruette,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Cavanero. I'm not hearing anybody. Are there microphones working on that end?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah. The mask.
okay. I don't know. Motion made by Councilwoman Ruette, seconded by Councilman Cavanero. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're open to the public. Members from the public wishing to address the board at this time? Yes, sir. I know. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
The microphone.
I can read that into the record for you. Okay. I will, see, there are a few copies here. I'll read this into the record for you if you want to, yes. All right, this is a letter addressed to the Torrington Board of Councilmen from Eugene F. Green. Request extension of sewers to my property. My wife and I own 52.5 acres of land on Highland Avenue and West Side Road. It is located 2 miles from Torrington's downtown. On July 25th, 1990, the property was rezoned from R15 to R40 when the entire west side was changed from R15 to R40 and R60 outlying residential zone. Since WPCA does not service the R40 zone, my property cannot be properly subdivided for the optimum use of the land. I have been informed by City Planner Martin Connor that a request for a zone change to R15 would require a commitment from the City Council that the property would be serviced by the sewer service area. Torrington needs affordable housing and permission for senior 55 and older housing on the west side, which is not possible under present zoning regulations. It is, if my property were changed to R15, 100 feet by 150 feet, a nice sized building lot along with sewer and water, it would help to fulfill the need. The city would gain by having the developer bring the sewers up to the west side road at his expense. In addition, the city will receive residential real estate taxes and the WPCA receive a fee of $3,500 for each home hookup. I hope the City Council will honor my request to extend sewers to my property and notify the Planning and Zoning Commission that town sewers will be available to this property should my request for a zone change be granted. Thank you for consideration at this time. Sincerely yours, Eugene F. Green, of 200 Housatonic River Road in Salisbury, Connecticut. Right. This is in the record. There will be no response from the council at this time on this request, but we will, of course, refer to the appropriate boards and have them follow up with you, okay? Thank you. All right, Carol. Yeah.
In that area, and it's over there, all 40 start, 2 miles from downtown, and then the 60 is right on this side road. Which, it's not right. Restricted. You know, it's things how developed in the car, all of but there's been no development on this side for the last 30 years. And it was on 15, up to that point, but because they have been a building boom, they decided to make that change.
Okay, we will follow up with the appropriate WPCA director, Public Works Director, our land use office, and we'll get back in touch with you through Corporation Counsel's office, okay? And Carol, here, can I just send that down to Carol? So you can copy those, Carol, and share them with the rest of the board. Thank you, Mr. Green. Floor is still open. Carrie.
Good evening. On behalf of all Torrington residents, I wanted to rise to thank Councilwoman Wagner for her time on our city council. Sharon Wagner was an advocate for our city long before she became a city councilwoman, and I have no doubt that she will continue to be one long after her term is over. She has been a mentor to me personally over the past several years, and I know that every action Sharon has taken is in the best interest of Torrington's residents. The taxpayers, the residents, city workers and private businesses, educators and students, senior citizens, and the newest residents in our town, Sharon looks out for us all. Councilwoman Wagner will tell you that she's not tireless, but I would argue that. She certainly appears tireless to me, always willing to do the research, reach out to all the involved parties, send emails in the middle of the night when the rest of the world is sleeping, ask the hard questions, and ultimately make informed decisions. Sharon knows that the best government is one that is transparent and inclusive, thoughtful instead of impulsive. She's going to be deeply missed in this role, but I'm willing to bet we will continue to see her in this auditorium. And I know that being Torrington's #1 cheerleader is a role that Sharon will continue. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Floor is still open to the public. Okay. Floor is still open to the public. Anybody else from the public wishing to address the board? Okay, we'll move on to item #2. Goodbye, Mr. Green. All right, item #2. I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of the purchasing agent, fleet manager, and vehicle replacement advisory board, and authorize the mayor to award the purchase of 2 Ford Police Interceptors from state contract number 12, PSX 0194, for $96,765.82 from MHQ of Middletown, Connecticut, pending Board of Finance approval. This was approved by the Board of Public Safety on November 4th, 2021.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Ruette, seconded by Councilman Cavanero. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, I'll entertain a motion to approve the span pole repair on New Orleans Road and the Torrington and Torringford West Street in the amount of $12,705 from Capital Reserve budget line as described in Sergeant Baldus's letter dated October 28, 2021. This was approved by the Board of Public Safety on November 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner,
Second.
and second by Councilwoman Ruette. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 143-222, authorizing the mayor to apply for the CT DECD for a $200,000 grant funds for pre-development expenses at 100 Franklin Drive.
So moved. Second.
It is, I know. So let me, before we get that second on the motion, this isn't for an application for the 200,000. This is to enter into execute the contract. The $200,000 grant has already been awarded. So what I'd be looking for is resolution 14322, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract with CT DECD for the $200,000 in grant funds. These are the pre-development expenses at 100 Franklin Drive, otherwise more familiarly known as the NIDEC property. I heard Councilwoman Waldron.
I'll modify.
Thank you. And the second was Councilman Kevin Arrow.
Right,
Thank
I'll
you.
modify as well.
Okay, good. All right. Questions?
Yeah, I have one, Mayor.
Yes.
What constitutes pre-development expenses?
So pre-development is, this is where we'll be working with the property owner, which is NIDEC America, to develop pre-development documents. This can be anything from RFQs for potential developers. It could be preparing a RAP, a remedial action plan. Do you want to talk a little bit more about where we are with this one?
Good afternoon. So currently this property is owned by the NIDA Corporation, and they're moving forward with their remediation costs. Without having an end user, the remediation standards, they have to just take everything off the site, which is very costly. So what we're attempting to do with this fund is to attract a developer to the site that will work directly with NIDEC, and they'll create their site plan and help NIDEC create their redevelopment plan so that it can get done over a much shorter period of time as money allows. So right now, we've known that this property sat vacant for many, many years, and that's because of the sheer cost of completion. By getting the developer to the site, we can help shorten that time frame because the cost isn't as much. So the grant will help with that gap. So it may help with survey work, it may help with additional assessment work that's needed, remedial action plan, but we won't know exactly what that is until we make that connection with the developer and NIDEC. We've already started working to create a document for a request for express interest on the property to see who's interested in coming there and what types of developments fit our redevelopment plan. But ultimately, it is a private property owner. And so they will work directly with the property owner. We're just kind of that facilitator to try to help make it happen in a shorter period of time.
Questions on that?
Yes.
I'm still confused about exactly what the it is. When you say a developer, there's already a developer. So you've got a private entity that owns that land right now. We're applying for a grant of public tax money to give to the private developer to clean up their property.
It won't be for cleanup. It will be, they have to be responsible for the cleanup, but it will help. So when you have a property that has contamination, it's very hard to attract development to that property. And a lot of soft costs have to be spent to come up with a development plan that will ultimately happen on that property. So this is a way to incentivize somebody, a developer, to spend some money and develop that site plan and that approval process.
Okay, I get that. What I'm confused and concerned about is this overlap of private public money. This is public money, right?
Correct.
This
This
is
is-
public money. So by authorizing this, are we in some way predisposing a particular developer already?
No.
Therefore, taking the decision about which developer gets to work with that property and buy that property?
And I'm gonna take that. No, the answer is no. First off, this grant has already been awarded. We already came to the council months ago to receive permission to apply for the grant.
Yep.
The council agreed to the application of the grant. The grant has been awarded. Right now, we need to execute the contract documents. And one of the requirements of the contract documents is the resolution. There is no developer in the queue. This is 100 Franklin Drive. This is around the corner from the property that the city owns and being developed by Penrose.
Oh, but I
yeah.
could have sworn I just heard that there was, this was going to be a cooperative sort of between a developer and NIDEC.
When it comes to property remediation, DECD is looking for partnerships. DECD is well prepared to provide grant funds for assessment,
Yeah.
to figure out what the contamination is, for remedial action plan, to talk about what it will cost to clean up the property, and for cleanup funds. However, the success that we had with our property at 100 Franklin Street is what DECD is now using as a model. They're saying it is far better for there to be a developer at the table. So this is a 3P. There's the public entity, which is the city, the recipient of the grant, the private property owner, and the end user or purchaser. It's far easier for DECD to get on board with providing additional funding for cleanup or for any of these soft costs if they're working with the end user and you're cleaning that property up to the standard, the RSRs established by the
Okay,
state.
I get all that, Mayor. I get all that.
Yeah.
I just, again, it seems to me, again, it seems to me, 200,000, the other $250,000 for public funds. And by this process, we, the city council, it feels like we don't have an input as to which developer we want to put in partnership with NIDEC. And if you're going to say, well, that's not our decision, then I feel like, no, I don't want to support this. At some point, we should be able to say if we want a particular developer or not developer to use public funds to assist in a seller of his property.
The
I don't think it's that complicated.
the say that the city has in the ultimate end user is through zoning. So however this property is zoned is the type of developer that you're going to attract. But you're absolutely right. It's
But you're-
a
you're-
private property owner and they have the right to sell the property to a developer or to an end user in accordance with, with zoning regulations and
And I will just also add, we don't have any say right now. By having these public funds, we at least have a seat at the table. And we at least have some influence. While we don't have the final decision, this gets us a seat at the table. So we have
Well,
more say now than we would if we don't do anything.
In terms of transparency, I would like that seat to actually include 3 partners, and we know who the 3 are. We know 2. It's the city and state taxpayers who are ponying up the money, and then it's a seller of property, and there's a mysterious third partner out there. And I think it would just help, I believe, make a reasonable and sound judgment on whether or not we want to go with this plan if we knew who that third partner was. It seems to me like I'm suspecting that you know who this is and you don't want to say.
We have absolutely no idea. This money will help us attract a developer. Because right now, for
But you keep
years,
saying that, but then I keep hearing there is a developer. You
There
keep
is
saying-
not.
there is
There's
no,
no
you're not
developer.
hearing there's a developer.
Apparently I'm
Nobody's
mis-
saying
okay,
there's a
apparently
developer.
I'm mishearing this. Okay.
Pre-development expense, that's
I
actually
thought
in
this
the
was a
resolution.
negotiation between NIDEC, the seller, and then a buyer that is interested in the property.
There is no buyer at the table at this time.
there's no buyer interested, which is why we need this money to try to incentivize somebody to come to the table and be that developer. But right now, there is nobody that we know of that's interested.
So in essence, we'll be helping the private property owner attract a developer by having incentive money that can be used for remediation.
Correct.
We will also, as the municipality, be working with this property owner. This is a contaminated piece of property. It's a significantly contaminated piece of property
Sure.
along the river. as it stands right now, fenced in, barren, and burping oil into the river periodically. This is an opportunity for us to work with this property owner and work with some potential future developer to clean up this property in the core downtown area and redevelop this and put it into productive reuse.
Just one other comment. I think I remember a report that was talking about, you were talking about the burping oil into the river or some underground tunnels or pipelines of some nature. Wouldn't it be better if we could encourage NIDAC to clean up that immediate problem because of the damage to the river and the environment?
So right now, they are under deep enforcement action and they have cleaned it up.
Okay.
They've put in 40-foot wall, like sheeting down to the rivers to try to mitigate that. But they're still monitoring wells there and they're under order from deep to do the necessary cleanup. So for that particular piece of contamination.
And I appreciate that because I was unaware of that, those steps that have been taken.
Yeah.
Can we read the motion again since it's been amended?
Yes. So the motion is amended to read that this is an adoption of resolution number 143-222, authorizing the mayor to execute contracts for the CT DECD $200,000 grant funds for pre-development expenses at 100 Franklin Drive.
Thank you.
And 100 Franklin Drive is NIDAC?
That is the
That is-
NIDAC
yes.
property,
Okay.
7 acres owned by the NIDAC Corporation. Other questions or comments on the motion? I'll call the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Rista. Actually, you might as well stay. Be comfortable. Item 5, I'll entertain a motion to approve the facade and building improvement grant applications.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron,
Second.
and seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion? And I think this is the third time we brought this one to the board, so. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendations of the Small Cities Committee and authorize a payment of $826.93 to ICE Security Systems LLC for the installation and repair of an alarm system at 97 Wall Street.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries. Item 7, I'll entertain a motion by the City Council here and acting as a WPCA to approve a payment from Fund 490 Sanitary Sewer Capital Improvements to Yield Industries for invoice number 1178 for the new Litchfield Street sewer repair in the amount of $5,450.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruette,
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, I'll entertain a motion to accept Corporation Council's recommendation and authorize the mayor pursuant to CGS Section 12-179 to release the lien described in Attorney Michelle's memos dated November 8th, 2021.
Move it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ruette,
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of the tax collector and authorize the tax refunds indicated on the list dated November 8th, 2021.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion or the list? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, I'll entertain a motion by the City Council here and acting as WPCA to accept the recommendation of the tax collector and authorize the sewer use refunds indicated in list dated November 8th, 2021.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Councilwoman Wagner, seconded by Councilwoman Ruette. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, I'll entertain a motion to accept the building department reports for September and October 2021.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Waldron.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. Questions on the motion or on the reports? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, I'll entertain a motion to consider business by department heads.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rouette.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Wagner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? To our Zoom attendees, anything this evening, Mr. Tauzi?
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything, Penny, from purchasing? Anything, Dan? All right. Carol, anything in the city clerk's office? I know. Help is on the way. We can add it. Do we need to? Is there anything the small
Yes, we
cities?
do.
Okay, good. All right. I'll continue with the department heads and then we can add that. Anything Corporation Council?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Then it appears we need to add an agenda item. I will entertain a motion to add an item. I need 2/3 a vote in the affirmative.
We did small cities.
We did the payment, number 6.
Yeah.
Would that cover it?
For the $826 for the
Yeah.
That was the
security?
business. Okay. I see it.
I make a motion, we remove it.
Okay. There was no motion. Let's move into item 13. I'll entertain a motion to consider business by mayor and members.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wagner,
Second.
and seconded by Councilwoman Rouette. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Starting on the line, anything this evening, Councilman Rubino?
Nothing, Mayor.
Okay. From my left, Councilman Cavanero,
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rouette.
Yes, I would like to thank Sharon as well.
Just, right.
Okay, never mind.
We got you next week.
Thank you twice. So late. Yeah, but I do appreciate your service and your continued service. I'm sure, Mayor, I'm sure we'll find some activity for you to do. Yeah, no worries. But also that congratulations to the mayor and city clerk and city treasurer and those who are newly elected and those that are returning in their appointed seats. But congratulations to Carrie. I look forward to working with you. And I think that's it.
Okay. Councilwoman Wagner.
And you know I always have something to say. You're going to miss me. Thank you, first of all. Carrie, it takes a village, and my village is huge. I mean, it's all of the people here, the people in the audience and the people in the community. We moved here 13 years ago, and I was welcomed from the beginning. Found some really great people to work with, so it's been a pleasure. It's been intriguing. It's been mysterious at times. It's been all those things, but good at the top. One of the things that I know that we were hoping for, and I know there was a report in the newspaper about the infrastructure bill, and that I'm sad that we won't get something for the animal shelter, but I know that the good people in City Hall will continue striving to find funds that we can use, and I think that the community will support that. So I'm hoping we can do something there. I was happy about the public transportation, especially with the mayor now on the transportation board, and hoping we can do something to assist with our senior buses and have them running after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and doing some more things to have some local transportation. Plus maybe a few charging stations, which would be really nice. I'm also on the Regional Economic Development Board, so I'm really happy about broadband connectivity funds, because we have an outlying area in Torrington as well as the rest of the northwest corner where we don't have adequate broadband. And if nothing else, this COVID pandemic has shown that working from home and going to school from home is really difficult. So I'm happy about that. A couple of other comments. I just wanted to follow up on the presentation on Silicon Ranch and my questions. Have we gotten any reports yet from wetlands conservation or planning and zoning on?
I know that Silicon Ranch has a date with the Conservation Commission on the 18th. I will also be meeting with them on the 18th and will report to the council how that meeting goes. I believe that Ally, cannot think of her last name, Weaver, thank you, is intending to reach out to you personally to see if she can answer any of those questions that you
Awesome.
had.
That would be good. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And my final thing is kind of a cautionary tale. I know that, and I think Councilwoman Rouette agrees with me, we are always apprehensive about tax abatements. And so as a librarian, I did some research because when I met the representative from Penrose at Five Points Gallery, and we had just a nice conversation, but I mentioned to him that I had seen they were bidding a site in Provincetown, Massachusetts. And he said to me, and I quote, "We are all over the place." So I taught kids how to do research, so I took that skill. And it's been startling to learn how huge this corporation is and the amount of work they have been doing across the nation for 40 years. I'm hoping we were not taken advantage of as a distressed community. I discovered developments and renovations either completed or underway in 2021, including locations here, but also Brooklyn, New York, Orleans, Massachusetts, Atlanta, Georgia, Hartford, Connecticut, Northeast Philadelphia, Dover, New Jersey, Findlay, Ohio, Annapolis, Maryland, Newark, New Jersey, Lenox, Massachusetts, Cincinnati, Schenectady, Bucks County, El Paso, Texas, and more. And in Wilmington, Delaware, this year, they were able to get $26.4 million in ARPA funding from the state of Delaware. My concern is that we gave them a tax abatement, which is insignificant for them when you realize the income they are receiving annually. This company was called out in 1989 in the Philadelphia Inquirer for their reliance on federal subsidies. 42 years later, they have created a philanthropic arm and they're donating to educational institutions and scholarships and vast education-related causes. Meanwhile, what they will save in Torrington taxes each year would help us pay a salary and benefits, buy a new fire truck, and replace some sidewalks. I'm hoping we could perhaps talk them into making a donation to our schools and we can regain some of those funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Waldron.
Nothing from me, Mayor. Thanks.
All right. Well, actually, there is further business before the board. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public for comment on the agenda items only.
Moved.
Thank you, Councilman Cavanero.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wagner. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So for agenda items only, any comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, there being no further business before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank
So
you,
moved.
Councilman Waldron, seconded by Councilwoman Rouette. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
On the 15th. So we're on the 15th. I feel like our schedule, because we didn't meet last week.
And on the 15th, we will.
Is that what you're asking?
I
He
know,
was still very.
but we were supposed to meet, we always meet the first and third.
Oh.
Really.
I assume